All right, beautiful. Morning, everybody. Morning, Rahina. So this morning we have got the amazing Rahina from BrandifAI joining us. Morning, Rahina. How are you?
I'm good. So, yeah, I pronounced my name Braheen, and
Raheen,
super
sorry, I
excited to be
apologize.
here. No
Sorry,
worries.
sorry. Um, yeah, so I say morning. I say morning to everybody whose morning it is, or afternoon for those people whose afternoon it is. It's 4:30 in the morning for me where I am because I just flew to Pakistan yesterday. So I've had like 4 hours sleep, just got up to come and do this. So I would say if I apologize if my questions come out or my words get mumbled, it's because I'm running on very little sleep after 30 hours of travel today. But excited to
Oh,
be here with you. So thank you so much anyway again, Raheem, for showing today and wearing the most awesome, colorful glasses that you always do. Part of your brand, I think, most definitely.
it is now. Yes, it started off with my 8-year-old telling me, or then 6-year-old telling me a couple of years ago, to wear her pink plastic glasses for some pictures, and now it's become a thing. So,
It definitely is a thing. So we're really excited today. So we're going to be talking about Brandify and personal branding with AI deep research agents, and talking about like why personal branding matters more than ever for founders in any industry, and then how Brandify can help uncover ideal customer behavior. And then we're going to talk a bit about podcasting and why that can also be really important for your brand. So I think this is a really important topic because with AI becoming so prevalent now and everybody AI cloning themselves or doing faceless faceless video where they're using avatars and stuff like that to promote their brand. I'm still of the opinion, definitely at the moment, and who knows what will change in the future, but I still believe that a personal brand is a really important thing and that AI, it's definitely not there yet. I'm sure it will be at some point in time, but it can't overtake your personal brand and your face and your way of communicating and talking with people. And building that is a really important part of your business. So I'm excited to see what we're going to talk about today with that and Brandify and how it can help. And I'm really excited as well because understanding how Brandify works, my wife has utilized a lot of the strategies that Brandify can help with when she launched her business for Health Retreat about going around and getting herself onto podcasts and stuff. So as we were talking last night, I said this would be great for my wife. So really excited to see what we can do there as well. So, Rahina, I believe you've got something to show to everybody. We're going to educate everybody today about this personal brand and why it's really good for you, or why it's a really important part of everybody's messaging they should get out to the market. So, I believe you've got a bit of a presentation for everybody that we're going to share today. And then I think you do have an offer as well at the end. Is that correct?
I don't, but
You don't? Oh, you're going
I
to do one
mean,
now? That's okay.
well, yeah. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what people want to do after watching the presentation, and then we can give everyone that.
That's cool. That's cool. No, we always do these as value for education for everybody. So it's not about pitching at the end anyway. But I thought you had something for someone as you were saying yesterday. But that is all good. So I will hand it over to you, Ian, if you wanted to. Do you want to share your screen and let's tell everybody about
Yes.
how awesome they can be if they brand themselves correctly.
Yeah, let me
Oh.
let me pull up my slides really quick. Were you saying, Gary, that you are of the opinion that AI avatars and clones are a good thing or a bad thing? I don't think I caught that.
I I still think they can't beat your personal brand and what you're doing. Now, I had this conversation with someone a little while ago actually, and they were saying about doing their AI avatar for shorts and using that and posting their clips and comments with them. And I've never done it, and I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I mean, there are a lot of people doing it and doing it successfully, and they're well, I don't know if they're making money, but they're definitely getting making views and they're saving their time or whatnot from having to do it themselves. Me personally, I've never used an AI clone because I've always just thought, well, when I have an idea that comes into my head, I can just make a quick video. I can grab my phone if I need to and pull it out or do a quick Loom video or whatever it might be. And I'm one for just, one shot, get it done, post it up, mistakes, warts and all. And I don't think AI replicates that at all. And I feel that if I was going to let AI do something for me, that means I've got to, excuse me, means I've got to take the time to figure out a good script, um, work out what it's going to do, and then check the video once it's done it to make sure it hasn't made any mistakes or it kind of sounds okay. And then I've got to go and post it. Whereas for me at the moment, with the number of videos I do, I feel it's just easier for me to go and do my personal brand with my personal video and my personal mistakes, and it talks how I talk, which is because then it's me. But yeah, I'm not against it. But I think having your personal face on there, it can't be replicated, definitely at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a great point, and that's a great way to actually kick this off because I completely agree with you. I personally just don't think AI clones and AI avatars is the same as building a personal brand. To me, they're actually opposite because the whole point of a personal brand and the reason they're taking off right now and the reason everyone's trying to build one is because AI and automation is taking over every single industry and every single niche. And the only thing that can really help you stand out, and that's actually what we're going to talk about today too, is really your personal brand. And the whole point of that personal brand is authentic human connection. And so when you replace yourself with an AI clone or an AI avatar, well, you've just killed the whole point behind why people need that personal brand in the first place. So completely agree. So yeah, let me share my screen and I'll show you kind of what I've been working on, thinking about with personal brand and branding, and then also I've had my own. Actually, what are you seeing right now? You're not seeing my screen, are you?
Yep, Raheen, personal branding with deep research AI agents.
Oh, you are. Okay. I
Yep,
don't know. It's showing me something really weird on my screen. Okay. Let me, sorry, I think I have an extra app open here. There we go. That was confusing me. Okay. So you see my slides though.
I do,
Awesome.
yes.
So yeah, I know that I've spoken to maybe a couple of you at Level Up and I was talking about the stats. So this may not be the first time you're seeing this if we talk. Hey, Evan. Am I pronouncing your name right, Evan? Evan, right? Yeah. So I know we were
Yep, yep.
talking about some of this, and so this may not be the first time you're seeing this slide or this stat, but I think it's one of the most important slides that I've seen all year, this year. I actually pulled this from Google Trends in August, and just Google alone, and this is of course reflected in LLM search data as well, by the way, but how to build a personal brand, just that search term has been gaining traction, right? More and more people are looking for how to grow their personal brand. And Google search trends show this because over the past 2 years, it's actually gone up by over 400%, right? And so more and more people realize that building a personal brand is their only moat. It's super important for them to stand out. It is the biggest comparative advantage they can have. But also, oops, where am I? I think I lost a slide there. I seem to have lost the slide there. But anyway, the other stat that I was going to show you is from a more recent end of year 2025 personal branding report. I actually posted about this on my Facebook this morning, if anyone saw that. But the data and the research shows that while the search trend is increasing, it's rising, what's going down is the way people are executing it because people are failing at execution, right? When you ask entrepreneurs and founders how they're building their personal brand, that's where it starts to fall apart because nobody really understands how to build one. They just know that they need one, right? And so, oh, this is the stat. I thought I had some screenshots too. But professionals recognize the value of personal branding, but they struggle with execution, right? And the reason, we just talked about this, the reason why personal branding is exploding as much as it is because as AI and automation are taking over every single industry, trust in companies is going down because of all the AI and automation. Trust in people is going up. B2B and B2C buyers want to know who the founder is because they want to buy from people that they know, right? People buy from people. We've all of us here are marketers. We all know this. People buy from people. Content is commoditized because of LLMs, right? Like ChatGPT. Everyone's creating their content on ChatGPT, and so content is now commoditized. And with all of that, if you can still have your personal authentic voice, something that is differentiated, something that is not part of what everyone else is doing with all the AI clones and AI avatars, that's really what is going to be your moat. And that has to come from your personal experiences, your particular story, right? It can't be something that ChatGPT creates for you, even though you've been maybe having conversations with it for the past 2 years. And you think that it knows you better than anyone else. It probably does, but still that differentiating factor, that point of view that can only be yours, has to still come from you. I was actually having a conversation with Claude, side note, earlier today about, can you actually, if you have all of my stories, you have all of my details, can you help me find what it is that differentiates me from all the other experts in my field? And it pretty much told me, I should have put that screenshot here. It pretty much told me that I can help you put it into the right words. I can help you find the right messaging for it, and then I can help you with the strategy for it. But what is different about your thoughts and opinions on anything really need to come from you. So why is execution so hard, right? So we all know, is anyone here, actually, I'm curious, is anyone here, I'm assuming you guys are all here at the session because you know that that personal branding is the way forward, that it is important to do, but that execution is the hardest part. It's not the why, it's like the what do I do, right? Anyone disagree with that? I'm gonna find my chat window really quick too. But I'd love to know from you if anyone like feels like no, execution is easy. Maybe it's a different part of the personal branding that's hard. Put a one in the chat. I'm just curious, like how many of you maybe, and if you do agree with me, put a two. Execution, consistent execution is the hardest. Yeah, yeah, two. Okay, so we all agree that execution is the part that trips us up. Okay, awesome. Lots of twos coming in. Great. And so the answer really is not that there isn't enough content. I'm sure you guys have all heard a lot of the experts out there saying, oh, you're trying to build a personal brand, you need to start posting 10 times a day on Facebook. Anyone not heard that advice? That is
Very much.
exactly what everyone is saying to do, right? And you'll see more and more people doing it. Now, it's not a bad thing to do. Yes, you can monetize Facebook, you can monetize your posts, you can monetize your content and get more engagement, game the algorithm, get more engagement, get more views. All of that is true, but that is not what a personal brand is, right? A personal brand is creating the right kind of content based on what your audience, what your customers are actually searching for, what questions are they actually trying to answer, how can you answer those questions with something that only you know, because only you have lived the life you've led and have the experiences that you have. Only you have something to add to the mix that nobody else can, right? And it's really finding that. So that's where the data comes in. And I'm finding that more and more people who are just spraying and praying and posting 10 times on Facebook, trying to understand how to build a personal brand through that, it's not because they're not failing because they don't have enough content. It's because they don't have enough data that they're using to power up what it is that they are posting about, what it is that they're saying, what their messaging is, right? So with that, the three biggest myths in personal branding that I'm personally seeing out there right now are just post more content. We just talked about this, right? Post more content. Myth number two, I see a lot of people saying, we're going to do a one-day workshop. This is going to be the best workshop you do in 2026. Let's define your brand pillars. How many of us have heard that? Like brand pillars. We're going to define our brand pillars, right? Have you guys ever, but anyone in the room actually, have you ever gone to one of these workshops or taken a training or even talked to ChatGPT about defining what your brand pillars are? Put a yes in the chat for me, and if you've never done that or you don't think there's any merit in doing that, put a no for me. But curious if okay, no, you've never done that. Awesome.
I've definitely done
No
some of that
yeses?
before,
Okay.
looking at the color wheels and what does different colors mean and what does red invoke if someone sees that versus blue being nice and calming and all that kind of thing.
And those are actually important. Those brand identity pillars are important, but here's where people are getting tripped up. Colors are important for your business brand, not for your personal brand.
Yes,
I
true.
might be wearing
Very
pink
true.
glasses, but and Evan might be wearing these cool yellow glasses, which obviously are super cool, giving me competition here. but that's just like something we happen to wear, and yes, that might make us visually more memorable. But if we're not saying anything that really stands out from what everybody else is saying, that's what's going to crush the personal brand, right? It's not the colors. Brand identity pillars could be colors, it could be like words and emotions and all of these things and all these workshops, right? Like these are going to be my content pillars and all of that. Those are great for your business brand. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the difference between a business brand and a personal brand. But your brand pillars have nothing to do with your personal brand. Okay. And yeah, AI can clone your voice. Now, AI can do a pretty good job of understanding your writing style, your personality. We use brand voices in both of our platforms. We have two AI platforms, one for business branding, which is Hey Levi, in case you've heard of that, and our newest platform, BrandifAI, which is specifically for personal branding and thought leadership, right? So AI can clone some of your personality. It can clone some of your writing style, but even with the best brand voices, you still want to add something of your own to any content that you post. Again, what you were saying, Gary, you don't want to just like have ChatGPT create something or have like AI create, a video for you or any piece of content and just post it. Okay. And all of these three things really are important for your business, but again, not so much for your personal brand. And I think that's where the confusion comes in. I want to also point out, so I was on a webinar the other day. I'm not going to call out any names, but I was on a webinar the other day and they were actually talking about personal branding. The webinar itself wasn't meant to be about personal branding. I think it was more about how to create more content. And somebody in the audience, I was just part of the audience, but somebody in the audience asked, how do you use this content? Like, how do you create more content to build a personal brand? And I don't have the time. And this was actually, the person who was asking was an attorney. And I thought this was really fascinating. So this attorney asked, like, I don't have time to, post 10 times a day. And so the person hosting this webinar, I'm sure they had the best intentions, but they said, when you always have these pockets in your day, right, where you're not doing anything productive. Maybe you're eating your lunch, maybe you're putting your kids to bed, whatever it is, those are the times where you could just pull out your phone and post a piece of content. It's not that hard, right? And this is an attorney who I hope that she is spending her time, even when she's not actively at her desk or with a client, I hope that she's actually got her wheels turning on the cases that she's working on and looking for new angles and how to improve her craft and how to actually break through any problems that she's currently having with her clients or her clients are currently having in their cases, right? And for me, that advice really hurt because I was like, I feel like that is the narrative right now. More and more people are being told, use every spare moment you have in your day to create more content because that is the only way to build a personal brand. And if you guys watch House, by the way, House, MD, or whatever that was, the TV show House, Dr. House, no?
No, no.
No.
Oh no, my whole analogy is about to fall flat right now. But, well, then there's no point in me talking about it. But, okay, I have a couple of yeses. So you guys know Dr. House, right? Yeah, one of my favorite TV shows too. Evan and Gary, you guys got to catch up. How have you not watched House? Please do. It's one of the best shows of all time. I don't watch TV. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Don. That is like probably your life is probably way more productive than mine. But then all the cool things that you find out about on TV. Anyway, I watch a lot of Netflix. Anyway, I digress. But on House, so House, for those of you that don't know who Dr. House is, it's the show about a doctor who's like crazy, like in his way of thinking, and he has a lot of like weird, he's pretty eccentric and everything, but he solves cases that nobody else can solve, no other doctors can solve. So that's the whole premise of the show, and every episode is about this crazy thing that happens to a patient and nobody can figure out what's going on, and then that case comes to him because he's the only doctor who can figure these things out. Interesting note on that, by the way, for those of you that are House fans here, each episode is actually built on a real life case that actually happened, and some doctor actually solved that in this weird way, right? It's just put together as one doctor who's always been able to solve all the hardest cases, but it's actually all built on real life cases. But my point here is, think about this attorney who was asking, how do I create more content? Or like, think about Dr. House. Can you imagine if Dr. House in his day-to-day life tried to find pockets of time throughout his day to post more content instead of obsessing about his patients? Like, oh, I'll just let my patients die because I need to go post more content right now and make sure I'm more visible. The reason he cracked every one of those cases is because he was obsessively thinking about his craft. And so if you're an expert in something, don't stop being an expert in that thing just to create more content. Anyway, I think I made my point. I'm going to move on. So the real problem is that for personal branding and to build visibility, I think a lot of founders, a lot of branding experts, marketing experts are confusing presence with positioning, right? Your presence is about being more present everywhere, like show up more, show up in people's feeds, like show up more, show the algorithm that you're like more visible, right? The more you post, the more visible you are. And wherever there's high traffic, which is social media, right? Your positioning is your strategy. It's figuring out what you believe that is different from all the other experts out there who are all doing the same thing, by the way. Everyone's trying to post more content, everyone's trying to be more visible. But what's going to actually differentiate you from all of them is having something that you can draw from your experience, from your story, and actually use that to differentiate the message that you're putting out there. How you help people should be different from what everybody else in your industry is offering, right? And I truly believe everyone has a differentiated idea. Some of us just need more work to kind of pull that out. I actually spent a year just trying to put things into words and really figure out what is it that I bring to the table that nobody else does. Okay. So let's also talk about the difference between business branding and personal branding here before we move forward, because again, that is actually the biggest myth, that branding is branding, right? Branding is different when it comes to your business, and it's different when it comes to you. And my favorite analogy here is, think about Apple versus Steve Jobs, right? Apple is the one that has the memorable logo, the colorless colors, I guess, what is silver, right? White, silver, that's what comes to mind when I think of Apple, clean. But when I think of Steve Jobs, I think about his story. I think about the things that he used to say that were so like bizarre and different from everybody else. I think about him, right? And so business branding is what markets your company. That's where you need your brand identity pillars, your colors, your logos, all the stuff that makes your offers and your brand sticky, your customer avatars, all of that. And then personal branding is your story, your expertise, your unique perspective, right? It markets you. And both are equally important, because if you ever exit your business, and even if you don't intend to today, there might be a time when you will, your business is investable and exitable and buyable only if it can stand on its own 2 feet, right? If your personal brand is the only thing that brings people to your business, that's not a great sign for an investor or a buyer, because they want to know that the business can actually grow without you in it. But if you do exit, and if and when you do exit out of your company, if all you have is a business brand, well, now nobody knows who you are, right? And you're having to start from scratch. So it's really important to have both. And you are the only competitive advantage, by the way, that your competitors can never copy. All right, I'm going to actually skip past this because I think all of us agree that personal branding is important, and I don't want to continue on. I was actually trying to clean these slides up, but I ran out of time right before this. So I'm going to skip over this. But I want to say also, how many of you are agencies, by the way? High-level agencies? Evan, you are? I know everyone's cameras are turned off, but I see a yes. Okay. Any agencies? Drop a quick 1 in the chat for me. I want to know, or put a 0 if you're not an agency. Yes, 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 1s. Okay. I don't see any zeros so far. So I think everyone's an agency here. So this is actually really good news for you as well. Personal branding in the past has always been something really nebulous, like how you build a personal brand. Nobody really knows unless you go to like a really expensive branding agency who has this really big network and can get you like media features and all of those things, right? Right now, I'm going to show you a case study really quick of an agency who literally bolted on, because personal branding is in such high demand. It is actually now, with the right systems, with AI, with deep research agents, you can actually bolt personal branding onto any of your existing AI employee offers, for example, and increase the value of that, right? You can increase the value of your current offers and close clients a lot easier when you add on personal branding. So as an example, we have a certification program, by the way, where we take agencies through our 7-week certification course. We give them all the systems and the platform. Of course, BrandifAI does a lot of the heavy lifting. We show them how to use it for clients. And so one of our certified members shared this with me. He shared these screenshots with me because he offers, at the core of all his offers, he offers voice and conversation AI. So he's a high-level agency, offers voice and conversation AI, okay? And we had a conversation about how it was getting really hard to sell that because of all the other experts and all the other high-level agencies and agencies in general selling the same services, right? And so we were talking about, how do you find your differentiating factor? I was like, hey, you want to do something? Just try this out. Why don't you tag on personal branding, because now you know how to do it. You've been certified. Tag that on to your offer and see how it lands. He gets on the phone with this guy. He has a conversation, and the guy's like, yes, that's exactly what I need. Okay, so I need personal branding to bring in leads. Once I get those leads, now I need conversation AI and voice AI to handle those leads and convert them, right? So he sold the whole package at a $17,500 upfront payment, $6,500 after. So right after they got off the call, this is the screenshot he sent me. This is the email he sent his client, okay, as the terms of their agreement. I want you to actually see, look at the time here, 9:55 p.m. Okay, 10 minutes later, he gets 1 word. It was that easy of a sale. This guy sends 1 word saying agreed, right? And then shortly after that, he transfers the full amount. Like, there were no objections. There was nothing, because right now, literally the one thing that everyone is looking for is a personal brand. And if you can show them how you can do it with data and research, right? They are like, please do it for me because I can't be posting 10 times a day. So if you are an agency, I just want to tell you that right now with AI agents and the way the world exists and all the tools available to you, it is absolutely possible that this is something that you feel like would align with your current offers. It is the perfect core to any offer right now. 9 out of 10 offers, it's the perfect core. Okay, and by the way, this guy had zero personal branding experience prior to working with us. Okay. Now this is the how, and I'm going to kind of break it down on how we do it and kind of show you a little bit of the personal branding agents as well. So the reason it's important to understand how traditional PR agencies have been doing this before you understand how AI deep research agents are taking over a lot of that heavy lifting for us right now, right? So previously it was impossible to do this without a network and experience in branding because personal branding, and not just traditional, but personal branding in general requires, it's a two-step thing, right? And in terms of value, they're both equally valuable. So it's equally important to understand psychologically who you are, what your goals are, or if you're working with a client, like what their goals are, what their story is, what their experience is. We already talked about all of this, right? Understanding the unique experiences and stories that give them the kind of messaging that nobody else is really talking about, and only they can claim it because of their experience, right? Extracting that messaging, turning into clear message, clear story. And then phase 2 is where the research comes in. Because now once you have that story, yes, you can post it on social media, but it's more than that, right? Now you want to keep track of what your audience is actually searching for. Every single week, what are their search terms? How can you answer those search terms, those search queries with now that you know what your messaging is, you know your story, your experiences that are going to build you up as a thought leader. Now you want to actually connect the dots there, right? So you have your story, and now you also need, what are the search terms? What are my clients looking for? Where are they searching for this, right? Google, LLMs, wherever they're searching for it. What's being served up? So what third-party blog sites are coming up? What podcasts are they listening to? What events are they going to? Where are they finding answers to these questions? Okay, and then also connecting with the hosts of each of those places. This is what PR agencies do, right? That's why they have a network. So they will connect you to the hosts of all these podcasts and publications and write your articles for you to get them published on these publications, get you in contact with event hosts and get you up on stage, right? So there's a lot that goes into, and this second part is the part that's like scary if you don't have that network and experience, right? So with the first one, can I ask you guys again? I know a lot of you have your cameras off. By the way, if you can turn your cameras on, please. I love talking to people. So right now I'm looking at Gary, Akash, and Evan. Thank you, David. Thank you, Kathleen. Good to see you again. I know you, Kathleen. Hey, Dawn. Good to see you. All right, thank you guys. So it's always more fun for me to talk to faces. I mean, we're talking about personal branding, right? So not as much fun when I'm talking to pictures on a screen. Hey, Edith. So how many of you, for your own personal brand, feel like you know exactly what your differentiated message is, know exactly what your story and your experiences are? Edith knows. Okay. Kathleen shaking her head. Okay. Evan, yes or no? You know what your differentiated message is. You know exactly what you need to be talking about.
Differentiated message? No, I don't know what that means.
It just means that you are saying something, you're solving your audience's problems in a way that nobody else really is. You have some secret sauce, something that only you know because of what you've seen and experienced. No. Okay. Okay. So partial. Okay, Don says partial. So this is a lot of what we do in BrandifAI as well, but I actually created a custom GPT, by the way, that helps you extract the right stories and messaging. Okay. And this is the custom GPT that I built to test before sending it on to my team to build into our platform, which is BrandifAI. But I wanted to just give you the custom GPT for free. Is that okay? Like, would that help? It takes about 15-20 minutes to go through the process and like just have a conversation about what your stories are, what your experience is, and what is that clear message that is going to help your audience. Yes. Okay. So, we'll come back to that. That's the free GPT if you want to grab that. Also, if you have an iPhone, by the way, you can take a picture of this and save it on your phone. so that you can like long press it later and it'll pull up the URL. Somebody taught me this earlier this year, and I thought that was the best little hack with QR codes ever, in case you lose the link. Okay. So when you have your positioning and you have your clear story, your personal brand becomes so much more than I help X achieve Y so that Z. How many of us have heard that that's what we need to do to build a brand of any kind, right? Like, yes, that's important. You need to be clear. I mean, yes, if you're in an elevator, great elevator pitch, you need to know who you help, what do you help them with and why, but, or so that, like, what is the outcome that they get? But how much can you keep talking about that? How does that convert into content? How does that convert into your thought leadership? Like, how does that convert into your messaging? Nobody really knows, right? And so that's what this custom GPT is going to help you do. It's really going to help you extract that. Okay. And we already talked about the whole brand pillar exercises that tend to go nowhere. Okay. So that is
sorry, Raheem, would you be able just to put that QR code back up? There's Edith's just asking in the chat. I think she missed the link. I don't know if we can just post the link in the chat for everyone who's here as well.
Yeah, actually, let me do that too.
We'll make sure that we share this with the video for the replay as well. So people that are watching this later, the link will be wherever you're watching this later, will be below the video or above the video or to the side of the video. We'll make sure it's attached with this too.
I'm trying to remember let me know if that works.
Yes, that's in the chat.
That link work that I put in the chat? I think that's the right link. Okay, Kathleen's saying yes. Cool.
Yeah,
okay, so you have the QR code and the link is in the chat as well. So that's phase one. Okay, I would say don't try and get visible and all the other advice out there is like get visible, post more content. I wouldn't do any of that until you have your story and your message crystal clear. And that story and your message doesn't have to stay static. Sometimes it will, sometimes it'll evolve, right? And that's okay. But the idea is that you know what you're talking about right now that is going to resonate with your audience in a way that doesn't sound like what everyone else is saying. And it's actually not that hard to do because right now everyone is posting ChatGPT content. Everyone is going to ChatGPT and being like, oh, you know me now really well. And you know who my audience is. Can you tell me what to post, like create my 30 days worth of content? And it's giving you what it's giving every other expert in your industry and saying, yes, this is so special because you've done this. And then it's giving you that kind of content. Okay. So I would definitely start there. The second phase is where the whole network and the experience of personal branding and why PR agencies are able to charge anywhere between, I found one agency that actually starts their lowest package starts at $3,000 a month. But usually they range between $5,000 and $12,000 a month. Okay. And they're able to do this because of that network, because of all the research and the resources that go into this. And now I'm going to show you how we're using deep research AI agents to do a lot of that heavy lifting. Okay. So these agents can analyze audience behavior, and I'm going to actually show you what this looks like. So it's not just slides today, but I'm going to show you how they actually analyze audience behavior patterns, right? And what that means is it's going to tell me every single week, these agents tell me what are the exact search terms that my audience is looking for. Like, what are they looking for? Not just on Google, but also on LLMs every single week. And I don't have to go in and be like, hey, what are the search terms today? Right? Because sometimes we forget to do that too. It will automatically update, run the agents automatically every week for me. And then it sends me an email when it has new data for me. Okay. It tells me what podcasts, publications, and events are coming up in my industry. It sources contact information. It does a really good job with podcasts. Publications and events are a little bit of a hit and miss only because finding contact information for those people is trickier because they don't usually put it on their website. And what these agents are doing is going in and scouring hundreds of thousands of URLs and websites every single week to get that data, right? And so if it can find it nested in one of those pages, it'll give it to us. If it can't find it, it'll show you like where the website is and ask you to use the contact form. Either way, it will get you connected with the right hosts. Right? It can also write your pitches for you. So for podcast, for example, I'm going to show you this too. But for podcast, it will actually go through the last 5 podcasts. So let's say you want to get on somebody's podcast. It will go find all the contact information, the website, all of that for you. It'll go listen to the last 5 episodes on that podcast. It will connect the dots with what these last 5 episodes are about, what the general topic of this podcast is about, how that connects with what you can bring to the table. right? So when you pitch yourself, you don't want to just talk about, hey, this is going to be great for me, I'd love to be on your podcast. You want to tell the host how it's going to benefit them and their audience and their podcast, right? So it will actually write that pitch for you, very personalized, talk about how, the value that you saw in the last 5 episodes. And if you actually want to listen to them, it'll link it for you. And then also talk about what the gap is and how you can fill that gap with your specific expertise. So this is where your story, the phase 1 comes in, right? I was talking to a very well-known podcast host actually at Level Up, and I asked him to take a look at one of these pitches, by the way, on BrandifAI, and he was like, you wouldn't believe the number of ChatGPT written pitches I get in my inbox every single day. And you can literally see them. You can literally tell that they're ChatGPT, and I'm just going delete, 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 delete. But if I got an email like this, I would actually read it, because now you're talking about the exact podcast that they have taken the time to create for you, right? So they want to know what resonated with you before you pitch yourself. And it does this every single week. All right. So that Jago stat that I pulled up earlier during the presentation, by the way, my kids just got home from school, so I apologize if you can hear them in the background. But that stat that I pulled up earlier where it said more and more people are looking for personal branding, but they're failing on the execution. This is where they were going in that article, right? They're doing exactly what we're doing. We're focusing on, once you have your message, you want to amplify it, not just through more content, but actually finding your people, finding that data on your people, right? And then finding podcasts and webinars where your audience is actually hanging out. Okay. All right. Now let me pause here and show you what I'm actually talking about. Let me know if you can see my screen. Do you guys still see my screen here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm going to try and expand it a little bit just so you can see the whole thing. But this is really what I'm talking about. So again, there are different platforms. I'm not saying BrandifAI is the only one, by the way. So this is not like not a pitch. I really want to open your minds to tell you what AI agents right now can do. We use them specifically for branding, but I'm sure you guys have heard of Perplexity, Manus. I mean, those are less focused on branding specifically. BrandifAI is the one tool that actually focuses on personal brand. But you can do a lot of this deep research data on Manus and Perplexity too. In fact, I was talking to a PR agency that actually charges $100,000 for each client per year. And they told me that they're using Perplexity right now. Okay, so not tool specific, but again, I just want to kind of give you a visual on what this looks like. What does this data look like? Because we're marketers. We don't want to be like, oh my gosh, data, I don't know what to do with that, all of that data, right? Like, what do you actually do with it? So this is what I mean by it's gonna, every single week it updates us. It shows me when my agents were run, right? It'll tell me exactly what the search behavior is, so what the categories are and what is being searched for most often, and then what the exact phrases are. And I come in here, you can do this for the month, you can do this every week. Depending on my schedule, I'll sometimes do it for a week at a time. Sometimes I'll do it for 2 weeks at a time. I can come in here and just be like, okay, let's create some content based on this search topic. So now what I'm posting is actually based on my audience's actual search terms and not what ChatGPT is telling me is the best thing to post about. Does this excite you guys at all? Does it post for you? Not yet, but that's coming. So we are working on that in Q1. It will give you the content. You do have to copy and paste it in right now. But yeah, you guys are excited? Does it integrate with GHL? No, and I'll tell you why. Because we have, so I mentioned Hey Levi. So we have a Hey Levi business branding app, which actually does deep integrate with High Level, posts into your social media scheduler, does all of that. The reason we didn't do it with this one, first is our Hey Levi users actually said that they didn't want it integrated because this is for your personal brand. And through the GHL API, we can't hide this app from all the other your users in your sub account, right? So if you have somebody else who's an admin on your sub account, they will be able to get in here. And that's something that a lot of our users told us that they didn't want. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is we are going to be building in our own social media scheduler, integrating directly with Meta so we can actually control those integrations. If you guys have been in the High Level space, we all love High Level. I love High Level. I use it all the time. But some of their API integrations haven't been the most stable. So we just want to be able to own that and control it on our end. So, but yes, you will be able to push all of this as well. So yeah, we talked about, I'm going to go back to my home. Oops, no, it just logged me out. I'm going to log back in. And let me show you the podcast since we were just talking about that. It's going to show me all the podcasts in my industry that are the most popular that my audience is listening to. I can expand any one of these. Of course, Gary V. I'm not big enough to be on his podcast just yet myself. Working my way towards that, and BrandifAI is actually giving me a strategy to get on the bigger podcast as well. But it will tell me for every podcast, it'll tell me what that podcast is about, right? Do they accept guests, which is important for me before I spend my time trying to pitch to this podcast at all. Where their guests, which industry their guests have been from typically, the website to this podcast. Who do I contact, right? Who do I send my pitch to? And again, we're going to be integrating a whole email platform inside as well. So it's going to help you push your pitches right from the platform itself. Right now, it is all copy and paste into your own email client or email provider. It's going to link to the last 5 episodes. And if I tell it to write the pitch for me, it's going to base that pitch based on everything that it already knows about me and my personal brand and what the actual episodes and the topic of the podcast is. Okay, it does the same thing for publications, writes my articles for me based on what these publication and blog sites, everybody has their own set of requirements, like don't use language like this, it needs to be under this word count or whatever, right? They all have their own very specific requirements. And so this goes while it's scouring the internet and gathering all that deep intelligence and data, it also gathers the requirements for each of those blog sites. And then based on that, so it'll give me actual strategy phases. Right now it doesn't have anything for my long-term goals, but it'll give me a list of all of the publications that my audience is actively reading. So basically these publications are the ones that are coming up most often in my audience's search terms on LLMs and on Google, okay? And it's showing me what the success rate is of getting published over there, okay? And if I look at the details, it'll tell me what the content requirements are. So I don't have to go searching for this stuff on their website, which is really time consuming, right? It'll give me all the contact emails I need. It'll tell me what my next steps are, submission format, and it'll write the whole article for me and the pitch email for me. Okay, same thing for events. It creates your keynote slides for you. It'll create your all of your speaker kit pieces for you as well. Okay, so any questions, by the way? Are you guys excited just in general about the idea of personal branding and whether you're doing it for yourself or whether you're kind of thinking about, ooh, I wonder if I could actually use these deep research agents to actually do this for clients? Curious, like what you guys are excited about and where your mind's at.
I love this, just seeing how you can go out and find all these podcasts and these people and put together those pitches. Because as I was saying to you before, like my wife used this as part of her launch strategy for her business last year, and I didn't actually know about this then. And she was paying someone to go out and do all this work for her and go out, and as a person they were going through, they were listening to it, they were actually writing these personal pitches to each of the podcasts and doing exactly what you have said here. And they had a really high success rate because of doing this process, but it was all manual.
Yeah.
So I love this, looking at this, oh my goodness, I wish we'd had this at the time or known about this at the time. But I
Well,
know
it
the power of
all
doing all this as well, like getting on those podcasts and building your brand, and where that led to for her is as part of the launch strategy for the business. It works so well. So this is definitely something that people should be using, I would say.
Yeah, and I want to also say that that's awesome, by the way. I really want to know more about your wife because I know you mentioned it to me in Messenger yesterday, and I was like, oh, I want to know more. Like, what has she done and how has she done it? And it's really cool. If it makes you feel any better, Gary, this actually didn't exist until 2 months ago. So we just built the platform. It's still in beta, or actually just now going into beta. It's been in alpha so far, so it's really new. We're still building a lot into it, and we have a really, really robust roadmap for 2026. So really, going towards being able to, we're calling this the CRM for personal brands, and that's exactly what it's going to be. You can actually create your own personal brand website in this just by telling it. I'm going to go into my settings here. You can say generate a personal brand website. Just give it a color palette, give it an example of a site if you have one that you really like. Overall look and feel, tell it what the imagery style is, make sure there's a media library already built in so you can upload your videos and your pictures. And based on all of that, it'll create your website for you. And what we're actually releasing, we're aiming for Christmas, but we're releasing an edit feature after that. So it'll create what it creates. If you want to create again, you can recreate it, but it'll overwrite what it already did. So we're creating a whole chat interface after this, which is kind of like our little mini vibe coding element in Brandify, where you'll be able to tell the AI what to change, what to tweak on your website, and it'll create the whole thing for you. Yeah, Evan, you have a question?
Yeah, is it I mean I love this whole I'm working on developing a podcast for my community here, and I want to be known as the digital marketing guy in my community. And so creating a personal brand definitely makes sense, but also for my business too, like on top of it. So I mean it sounds like it's a 1-2 punch with Hey Levi, which I know you didn't come on here to speak about, but also with Brandify as well. I mean, is that it sounds like now I'm like swallowing the fire hose. I got to do like both of these things, or
Yes,
what do you?
and let me actually, that's a really good question. So I really appreciate that you asked me that because I know that a lot of people struggle with, okay, well, as soon as I tell them that these are two different things and they're both equally important, they're like, oh my God, I don't have time now for anything. So yes, it's a 1-2 punch, but the short answer to that is that yes, they're both important. If you're trying to figure out which one to start with, it really depends on how far you are in your business. Evan, based on what we talked about at Level Up and what you just said, I would say your personal brand would be more important to start with, more than your business brand, right? Because your business exists, you're already getting clients, right? What I would do is pause and really establish your own thought leadership, establish your own personal brand. That way you suddenly gain access to more people, you have more leads coming in, you have more traffic coming into your business, and then through your personal brand you can start to establish your business brand. It also depends on what your exit strategy is. Let's say you're like, you're one of those people where you're like, I want to exit my business in 2026. Well, that changes it then. Then I would actually focus on your business brand first. But at the end of the day, yes, if this is a long-term strategy for you where you are growing your business and you're in it for the long haul, you're not looking to exit in 2026, I would focus on both. So your personal brand first usually is the answer, and then your business brand.
Can I ask a
Also, that being
follow up?
said, Evan,
Sorry.
Hey Levi is actually, it's a white label software that we have a lot of GHL agencies using and white labeling it and offering it as a part of their GHL agency offer as a value add, especially in the higher plans. And we're going to be offering rebilling, so that's really cool in Q1 for Hey Levi. So it is um, it's a lot easier to use in a certain way. I'm very hesitant to say that because it's not that it's easier to use than Brandify, but you can see that Brandify has a lot of moving pieces, right? It is going to get more and more automated. We're automating a lot of these pieces. So we're going to tell you exactly when to pitch, when to follow up. We're going to write the system already writes your follow-ups for you, but it's going to actually, we're building projects into it right now where you're going to be able to monitor who you pitched to, when you pitched, and because you're sending it from here, the system will alert you, hey, you haven't heard back from this person, it's been a week or it's been 8 days, let's send a follow-up, right? And it'll write the follow-up and it'll wait for your approval and it'll send it for you. We're not there yet, so right now you do have to go in and ask it to write this stuff for you. In
How do you feel?
2026,
Sorry,
yes.
how do you feel about like Lovable or some of these vibe coding platforms to just do your own website?
I love it, which is why we're actually building it right into our platform.
Nice.
So if you've used Lovable, or you've attended a training or a webinar on Lovable, you're probably aware that most people, most of the experts at least that I've listened to, the really good ones, will tell you how to flesh out your idea and your prompt for Lovable in ChatGPT first, right?
Yep.
They're telling you to validate your idea, come up with the idea itself, look at all the different angles, and create the content for your quiz or mini app or whatever you're building, and then ask it to build in all the technical language into that prompt so that you're not spending all your Lovable credits or whatever on doing that part of things. Then you get the prompt and then you plug it in to Lovable. So what this does today, right now, Brandify actually takes away that chat GPT stage. And so I just realized I forgot that I was still sharing my screen. I can actually show you what I'm talking about. But what it does is based on your audience's search terms and your brand profile, it will give you ideas on what kind of lead magnets you could be generating, okay? And what it expects the conversion rate for each one to be based on all the data that it has. Then if you expand it, it'll give you more details about it. And then if you're like, okay, let's create this. This looks really cool. Let's create this calculator. You can generate it. It will create the so this is again taking away the validation step. So ChatGPT, you don't know if it's hallucinating or what data it's basing its answers on, right? It'll tell you, we all know that it's very agreeable, so it'll tell you every idea is a good idea. No kidding, by the way, my husband actually tested this earlier this year. He asked ChatGPT about wanting to create a website where he wanted children, minors, to come on there. And I think they've gotten better since then, but it was hilarious. And he was like, "Can you create a landing page for me that convinces parents to trust me with their kids?" And it was like, "Oh, that is the best idea ever. Here you go."
Oh, goodness.
It is scary, right? And so that's the level to which it hallucinates. Now, we all know that that's bad, but sometimes you don't know if it's actually hallucinating or if it's actually giving you a database answer. Most times it's not. So this is taking that away because it's actually giving you ideas based on what your audience's actual media consumption habits and search terms and content consumption habits are. Then when you generate it, it will not only create the actual content for you, it creates the technical part of your prompt as well. So all the technical requirements, you can take that prompt. It also puts in the styling. So if you built the website, remember how I showed you, you can input like how you want to stylize your personal brand website. It'll take that stylization guide, put it into your prompt for Lovable. And so what you put into Lovable is already pretty much done. And then you can do the minor tweaks if you want in there. What we're trying to replace by the end of the year actually is that entire Lovable piece as well. So you will be able to just vibe code your entire mini app or quiz right in here.
That's awesome.
Very long answer, sorry, but thank you for asking.
No, that's great. That's great detail. Thank you.
You're very welcome. David, you had a question?
Yeah, sorry. So this looks amazing. I will say that. I'm excited to try it. My question is, I use a lot of AI, different AI options day to day, right? Like Perplexity, all of them. But my go-tos, ChatGPT, Gemini, Notebook LM. So I was wondering, like, what are your go-to outside of BrandifAI? What are your go-to like top 2 or 3? What do you go to day to day that you use the most of as far as AI tools?
So, and I'm not saying this because I own these, but yes, I do a lot of my content and my strategy and everything in BrandifAI, and for my business, I do it in Hey Levi. That being said, I use a lot of Claude when I'm just kind of trying to spitball ideas and do something that's not really related directly to either brand. So Claude is really my go-to LLM for most things. Perplexity and Manus, I've tried them both. I love them both. They're really, really cool. But again, I wanted something more structured. And the reason we built this is because I was like, I want something like Perplexity or Manus, but I wanted to do it specifically with the intention of helping me do this stuff, like the personal brand, the thought leadership, the PR, media features, all of that stuff. So that's why this is kind of, it takes a lot of those same deep research agents and structures it in a way which is specifically for this end goal of building your personal brand.
Great. I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, very cool. There is a free account. So yeah, there's nothing, you guys can totally try it. So do the custom GPT thing. It actually links in our survey as well. So if you don't have that link, brandif.ai is our website. You can actually create a free account, and in that free account, it'll take you through the survey, so you can actually upload. So if you're going through the custom GPT, you can upload your answers from there into it. And what it gives you is the brand profile and the target audience. So all the search terms and content habits and trends and things that it finds in your audience, it'll just give that to you for free. So yeah. Yeah, thank you, Maha. She just dropped the link in the chat for us. But yeah, with all that said, we have for anyone who's done personal branding and has done some of this, like Gary, it sounds like your wife knows exactly like all the stuff that goes into it, right? There's a lot of effort and work that goes into all of this. So the platform is really geared right now until we actually start automating a lot of these things next year. Right now, it is built for anyone who knows how to use personal branding, but for anyone who's like, okay, I see the value in like bolting this onto my current offers. Personal branding, by the way, when the founder is known, we're seeing that ad costs are going down, conversions are going up, like customer acquisition costs are going down. It actually affects every other part of your marketing offers as well. So this is something that you're looking to do. We're actually doing a one-day intensive on January 15th, if anyone wants that. We're doing a 1-day intensive 7-hour day where we're just going to build out all of these assets. We're going to go through your story. We're going to run your agents. We're going to build out 30 days worth of content based on your audience's search terms that week. Create your vibe coded lead magnet, your personal brand website, your keynote strategy and the actual keynote slides itself, your entire speaker kit if that's something that you want to do, if you want to get on stages. We're doing all of that in 1 day, so I'm happy to share that link as well. But that is it's a 1-day power intensive on January 15th.
Yeah, please, if you, oh, you've got the link in the chat there as well. Awesome.
Yeah.
With all this content as well, I don't know if you talked about the medium so much. Does when it comes out in terms of the medium, what's the main medium that you're recommending, or do you mix it up as well between written and video content?
So right now, okay, that's a really good question because video is great, but only when you're actually like, I think you already said this, Gary, like you opened up the whole session today with this. So if you're doing video already, it's something that you definitely want to keep doing. We don't do video inside of the platform just yet because the number one goal of this platform is to build your personal brand in a way that gets you in front of other people's audiences, right? So it really helps you put out content. So we had a couple of people who signed up for the app, and within a couple of weeks, like they were only using like a tiny fraction of the app to just create blog posts and post those as LinkedIn articles. Actually, one of them was doing LinkedIn articles, the other one was doing LinkedIn posts through the platform. Just content, no pitches, and they got contacted by somebody on LinkedIn, different people, different industries completely, but they got invited to be on somebody's podcast in their industry just by doing that. So again, it shows that when you are just praying and putting up 10 pieces of content out there, it may or may not work. But if you're actually being intentional about what you're posting and you just post like even once a day, but you're actually answering questions that your audience is searching for, it does end up not just telling the algorithm that you're posting valuable content, but it also catches the eye of the right people in your industry. So with that, right now, we aren't personally focusing on video through the platform. That is going to be a second half of 2026 thing. But me personally, yes, I do videos. I kind of paused to launch this platform. But my goal next week is literally to sit and record a bunch of videos for YouTube. So definitely important to have a video presence.
Interesting that you mentioned LinkedIn there. So when it puts together content, does Brandify consider the different platforms that it's creating the content for and the different types of languaging that you would present to those people? And the reason why I'm asking this is we're actually doing this at the moment for My CRM Sim, where like primarily for the last year and a half, all we've really done is Facebook. That's it. We've got a Facebook group, Facebook posts, all in Facebook. And we're literally just starting to do some stuff on LinkedIn now. And we're having to change the entire way that we write because it's a different audience on there. So the way that we write things for Facebook is not the way that we're going to write things for LinkedIn. So does Brandify help with that and say, here's a piece of, I don't know if it's this simple, right? But here's a piece of content for Facebook and here's a piece of content for LinkedIn, and it will differentiate the way that language is written because of the different audience types.
It does exactly that. But I will tell you, I'm going to give you another one of my tricks. Sometimes I'm just in a hurry, and yes, Facebook is my platform of choice too. Evan, thank you for joining us. I don't know if you already dropped off. I just saw that he said bye. So what I do is also primarily focus on Facebook. So yes, the platform itself will write your posts specific to Facebook, specific to LinkedIn, and each one has a different audience, the same audience really, but it's a different mindset. It's a different expectation when you read a post on Facebook versus when you read it on LinkedIn. And it's not just the language, it's also the CTAs and everything that, different CTAs work differently. So in LinkedIn, you want to try and encourage people to come to your DMs. Like you really want to invite people into your DMs. That's what works the best on LinkedIn. On Facebook, yes, of course, DMs are great, and Instagram too is DMs, right? But Facebook works really well with links. Now, people say that if you post external links, Facebook's going to ding you. They do kind of like lessen your reach when you have an external link, but it's really easy to link to a Facebook group or something on Facebook itself, right? And that they love. So just slightly different strategies. So to answer your question, Gary, yes, you do want to post them slightly differently. Most times, Brandify does write the whole post, write all your posts based on the platform's specific requirements. But something that I do when I'm in a hurry and I have like something that I just want to post on Facebook, sometimes I'll just write my own post because I have something in my head and now I want to like rewrite it for LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys are aware, but when you post something to LinkedIn, I'm trying to pull up my LinkedIn to show you guys. But when you post something to LinkedIn, there is, here, let me share my screen really quick one more time. I'm not gonna lie, I actually have been doing this more and more. So I will take my Facebook post, paste it in here, and then I'll use Rewrite with AI. Okay, it doesn't work as well as when the post is written from scratch for the platform itself. I will tell you that. But often, like I would say like 6 or 7 times out of 10, when I use Rewrite with AI, it polishes up everything and makes it really professional for LinkedIn. And you
Oh,
know,
is that
7
straight in the
times out of
LinkedIn
10.
platform? I didn't even know that that was there. We literally just
Yeah,
started
it's
using
built
LinkedIn.
right in.
Ah, so good.
Yeah. So like literally what I did this morning, I was testing like an external link, how LinkedIn handles it versus Facebook. So wait, how do I get onto my profile? Sorry, give me 1 second. There we go. This one, right? So I literally took this post and I put it in here. It's already posted to my LinkedIn. And then this thing lights up, right? And so if I say rewrite with AI, it actually takes that, it polishes it up. Now, sometimes it will use language that is not naturally me. And it'll add in, by the way, all the line breaks and everything that are missing too. It's great. So it actually just rewrites it for LinkedIn for me. And this, of course, I can't stand these, so I will probably replace them. But yeah, it does a really good job if I'm in a hurry and I'm like, I just want to take my Facebook post and rewrite it for LinkedIn. So 2 different ways to do it.
Awesome. Didn't know that one existed. So there you go. Tips all day.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, do we have any final questions for anyone here? Or if anyone wants to find out where you are, I think we definitely put the links in the chat a couple of times as well. And there's a demo. So if anyone's interested and wants to get a demo for Brandify, they can go to brandif.ai/demo. I think I saw the links in there somewhere in the
No, it's just
chat.
brandif.ai. Yeah, and they can sign up for a free account there. It's just brandif.ai. For the 1 day intensive, it's brandif.ai/influence. That's the 1 day on January 15th. But yeah, just to try out the platform for free, brandif.ai. Super easy to do.
Perfect. Definitely. We'll make sure that all the links are with this video wherever it's posted after this, because we will put this out on the socials on our Facebook page and on YouTube and so on and so forth. From my experience of building this out and building a personal brand for my CRM sim as well, for me over the last 18 months, I can't tell everyone who's listening or watching this later how valuable that has been. I think it's a very, very important thing to do. I know, as I said already a couple of times on here, for my wife when she launched her business, doing the exact strategy that you've kind of outlined here, using your tools, it was all done manually, and it was very, very important to launching that business and getting onto those podcasts and doing those things. They all lead to other things. You never quite know where they're all going to lead, but some amazing things can come out of those as well. So it's very important to do that stuff as well, and not be afraid to put yourself out there. And I would say to that as well, because I don't know if you've got advice here, Raheem, for people as well, because a lot of people, they do get worried about this, about putting themselves out there. They go, oh, I don't want people to see my face or hear me speak, or they're really nervous. What do you say to people that are kind of they're scared to brand themselves, or they're scared to put their face out there? They're nervous.
So I think building a personal brand and telling your story and talking about yourself and putting yourself out there is less to do with you and it's more to do with the people you're trying to reach and connect with. Because if you know that you have, whether it's a tool or a system or an offer or a message or whatever it is that you have that can help people, keep in mind that those people are going to continue living in their worlds of pain, struggling with their problems until you can fix it for them. Right? But in order for them to let you into their world and fix it for them, they want to build that personal connection first. Again, this isn't for every single offer. Like I don't need to know who founded my toothpaste company before I'll buy toothpaste from them, right? But if it's a high ticket thing, if it's something that really impacts my business, my life in any way, I would rather buy from people that I know than people that I don't know. And so if you're worried about putting yourself out there, ask yourself how important it is for your message to reach the right people. If it is important enough, hopefully you'll see that you putting yourself out there has nothing to do with you. It's all about how quickly and effectively you can reach these people. And if you feel like you don't have a message that is important enough to put yourself out there for, Well, then please use that story GPT and tell me if you feel differently, because I personally think that we all have something to share. And sometimes we are just so underconfident about what we have to offer and share that we lose ourselves in the noise of, oh, let's use this tool and become an affiliate and sell this tool all day, every day. What is that why behind it is really important for whatever you're offering as well. So hopefully that helped.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that as well, and I was thinking about those things too, is that when you go out there and put your own personal brand out there and you are you, you will find and like and attract the people that like you, basically. And when you do that, you have more fun because you're working with the people that like you. And that's not going to be everybody. Not everybody is for everybody, which is true. But when you can work with people that they see you, they resonate with you, you're actually going to have a much better time in your business as well. So putting that out there will get you the right customers and get you the right traction in your business with the right people that you want to work with too. So I think that's a really good thing to do once you've got your personal brand out there as well.
And I have to add this in. The thing that actually spurred me into action a year ago and why I was like, okay, that's it. 2025 is my year to go all in on personal branding and build my own personal brand and get on as many stages and podcasts and get myself out there as much as I can, is because somebody told me a year ago that your credibility is all because like I've helped you. Nobody would even know you if it wasn't for me. And that really spurred me on. So I was like, nobody's ever going to be able to say that to me again without feeling really dumb about it. So I mean, we all do a lot of work, and we find people will start to copy us and take credit for something that we've done. And so, if that's ever happened to you, let me tell you, having a personal brand that is recognized by your audience will make sure that nobody can ever take or steal that credibility from you ever.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Raheem, for today. And thank you so much as well. One of the things that I really take from this as well is that slide that you put at the beginning about the trend in the growth of how to build a personal brand and how much that's grown by people. Because I've been saying this for a while and I keep having these conversations. We're in this space and people keep saying, oh, do you want to just do AI videos? I'm like, well, I think it's going to be really important to keep maintaining your personal human brand for that human
Yes,
touch. And I hadn't even thought to
100%.
go and look at the trends for that, but that's really interesting to see that that trend has been going up for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I feel that it's a really important way to keep going as we see more and more AI come in. And I think people are going to want to, work with people they know, like, and trust and connect with and resonate with. And who knows what the future holds? We can't say never, right? Because AI is moving pretty rapidly. But right now, it's definitely not in that space where you can put yourself out there in your own authentic fashion. And I think people need to do that more. So thank you so much for coming on today and sharing that with everyone. And if anyone wants to check you out,
Absolutely.
go to brandif.ai, check it out, get a demo there, get yourself set up, and connect with Rahina as well on Facebook and follow her along for her amazing glasses too.
Yes. All starts and ends with the glasses. Thank you so much for having me, Gary. This was super fun. So thank you for hanging out with me today, everyone. And yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye.